Bring your vision to life, one frame at a time. Welcome to Get Things Done, Storyboarding.
Hey, Zeus.
Hey.
What are you doing to get things done over here?
As you can see, we got a lot going on over here.
Yeah, I do see that.
Olympian has been tasked with producing a short film. And I know, if you guys are aware, we have done a short film before. We also have worked on other elements when it comes to the short film, namely for like other clients, mainly from like a musical standpoint, right? We produced a score that'll be playing in the background. This is probably going to be Olympian's biggest project to date, simply because of the different elements and components that's attached to it. This is not like a normal short film either. If you take a look down here, what we have here is basically like a makeshift shell of a script. And then from over here, we transition that into a little bit more in-depth understanding of how the film will go out through a storyboard, right? So essentially what we're doing here is we're working with a client, and they just published a book that is the second part of a book series, and it's poetry, but it's a specific type of poetry which is called haiku. Sorry guys, I don't know all the ins and outs when it comes to haikus, you know what I mean? You guys know I do dabble in poetry. My first few books that I put out was poetry, but I wrote a different type of poetry, more storytelling in nature. Haikus, if you notice here, they're usually 4 to 5 lines. Very specific when it comes to the theme and concept of it. And you're just talking to like a specific element of a theme, right? And you're trying to basically get to your point within a short amount of lines, right? And it's basically, I would think, as I read them, and interpret them, that they're more emotional based, where it's like this like specific emotion is really trying to come and gravitate out from the words that you hope the readers will resonate with, right, and get an understanding with. So when you're putting a short film together, yes, you probably can go through the throes of it, right, and just kind of start developing how you're going to go about introducing characters, how you're going to make the scenes, what are your transitions going to be within the scenes, what's your overall theme, what do you want the viewers to really take out of within the performance and the footage, right? This is a little bit different as far as like I said, from a traditional standpoint, because the way the client wants it, this is the script, believe it or not. It's the different poems, right? So we're going to have our voice actor recite the poems, and then we're going to have other actors do the performance, essentially, right? To bring the scenes to life, bring the words to life. But it has to be this balance between the two, because whoever's reciting, the voice actor, they're definitely going to have to imbue so much emotion, right? And it's not just from their tone and the way they structure their voice as they go about reciting the poems. It's their mannerisms, right? It's going to be their facial expressions, right? Their hand gestures. All this plays a part in trying to create, some innovative visuals to go along with the words, right? So sometimes it's great to create like these storyboards where you kind of can just see all the words. You see the script kind of laid out. We have some visuals here to coincide with the poems, just to get kind of like a rough understanding of exactly how we want to go about it. You notice a lot through the illustrations This is going to be more from a, you know, an age of elegance, right? Sophistication, a level of sophistication. You see some elements from like a Victorian era with the dresses and the stances that they're in. So this is kind of like the feel and the vibe, essentially, you want to say, that you want to kind of, the client wants when it comes to this short film, right? So since we got the script laid out, it's going to be hard for you to really develop a short film if you don't have that as a basis, right? And you don't have an overview of exactly like what's the overall theme to your footage, to your film, right? And then once you get the script, whatever is going to be recited, from there you could translate it to here, where now you could go more in depth on how you're going to go about putting the film together through a storyboard. If you notice, we have the film title. Usually you want to have a log line. The log line, it just gives you a very quick, precise overview of exactly what the film is going to be about. And then if you notice, we broke it down into 3 acts. Each act has scenes. Some people mistake it as scenes as acts, and it's not. Different acts gives you an actual theme, whereas the scenes provide the substance, the transitions that you need to bring your theme to life. And if you notice, we broke down the scenes from a visual standpoint, the action, as far as like how the performance or how the actor should be performing, and then the overall vibe or feeling that should be conveyed by the actor. We even broke it down, as you see in the scene 2. You could break it down even further, where you have basically like the actual shot in which we want to capture the actor. You notice here too, Act 2, Scene 3, a wide shot, wide angle shot, medium shot. You have down here, Scene 4, a close-up. And it coincides a lot better within that scene as far as how the actors are going to be acting, but most importantly, how the performance match the poems that are being recited, right? So here at Olympian and with the client, we both came to the agreement that it will probably be best if the performers acted the scene out first, and that will create a natural transition for the narrator to come in and recite the poems. So now from a viewer standpoint, as you're looking on, you get first this introduction through the performance. You see the acting, you see the interaction between the characters, how they interact with their environment, and then the words come in. And now the words hopefully will come more to life, where the performance and the words match each other. Now I have a real understanding of what is going on here based off the poems that's being read, right? And as you can see here through the storyboard, we got 8 scenes. Usually whatever is your last scene will be your epilogue. You kind of want to wrap up everything that you did previously with all the other scenes. And then it's also recommended too to make director's notes, just to give you a little bit of insight, little bit of points of references basically that you can come to, so that you can stay focused on the true purpose of your footage and whatever you're trying to get out of it, that you want the viewers to get out of it, that they're certain when it's all said and done that every scene is acted accordingly, right? There's fluency within the performances, within the scenes. Nothing seems so abstract or out of the blue, where you really don't have an understanding of what's going on, right? So for anyone looking to get into like doing short films, this is the way to go to essentially create something that has a level of professionalism to it. Again, there's plenty of actors that kind of go, or excuse me, producers and directors going about doing their short films. They kind of take more of a go with the flow feel to it, right? Whatever they feel at the moment, and then they kind of inject all these different ideas as they go, which is fine if that works for you. But it's always great to have something set in place, not just so that you can get the ideas generated, but that you always have a point of reference, something you can always go back to and be like, look, okay, this particular poem, these are the words, okay. Now we can see how we're going to get the emotion invoked from this. Got an understanding of how the actor should be to bring them words out a little bit more. Okay. And then from there, we notice, okay, that's in scene 4. Okay. She stumbles in her dance steps, visually. Oh, okay. That makes sense. You know, whispering as onlookers notice the blunder. She's essentially feeling embarrassed, right? That's how she has to act. You know, this is something that happens by accident, not so much on purpose, just for attention to just naturally come to her. This is a moment in time where she actually feels embarrassed, and the actor needs to portray that. So you see how you kind of like run through the ideas and you start getting back on track as far as how the scene is supposed to go out. That's why it's so great to have a storyboard, so that you can stay on track. You always have that point of reference. To show you another example, as you can see here, the other film that you might be familiar with, and if you haven't watched it, please check out the Olympia Multimedia YouTube channel. It's on there. Directed by my good friend Jason Canyon. It was entitled Me Times 4. I thought it came out pretty well. It was very performance-based, based off 4 different versions of myself. And done in a spoken word, hip-hop, rap type of style. Won't go too much into it. Just watch it, please. But if you notice on here, again, we did the storyboard. This one's a lot more concise because it doesn't have a lot of moving parts like this project that I just finished explaining to you. With this one, we have the multiple acts, but within the acts, again, everything is just a little bit more condensed because it wasn't so much needed as far as the visuals or what was going to be acted out. Most of the performance came off of just me reciting the spoken word part or the rap parts, right? That's where the concentration was on. But if you notice in between them, you know, it's broken down to like, you know, looks dazed and confused. You know, it's given some notes as far as the performance is supposed to go. You notice in Act 2, it shows like how I'm supposed to be dressed, the tone in which I'm supposed to deliver the verse. You notice with each one is basic concentration on that, right? You see in scene 4, I'm supposed to be hyper aggressive, you know, spoken with much bravado and in a challenging manner, you know, because it's performance based. It's based a lot and concentration on my mannerisms and my facial expressions to really bring this persona to life, since I was essentially acting out 4 different personas, 4 personifications basically of myself when it comes to like my personality, right? That was the basis for it all. And then if you scroll down, we actually just created just actual visuals, like images of what was supposed to be portrayed within the acts, within the different scenes. You know, you see here, I'm just strolling through the park, versus here, it looks like I'm a lot more studious, a lot more intent with what I'm looking at. Clearly, I have a notebook in hand, so I'm reading over something maybe that I just wrote. Here, got a sense of bewilderment, maybe a little dazed, confused, like, what the hell is going on. You definitely get kind of this sense of it down here with the question marks. And then you got a silhouette here where like there's the 4 stages of me. And basically just giving a quick outline from a visual standpoint of what I'm supposed to look like. So these are 2 different examples when it comes to storyboards where you can have that you can present for yourself or create for yourself. You can have something like this, which is a lot more in depth. But again, it's all about like how many scenes, how many components, how many different actors are going to be involved with it. The script itself. You know, if you're looking to build momentum versus if you just want to get straight to the point. And if that's the case, then you can do something more like this where it's a lot more condensed. But again, you're using it as a point of reference. You still broke it down into different acts. And then from there, maybe you just want to dial up some different like visuals, some different images, just so that you have it in your head as far as like exactly how you want the person to act. What their mannerisms, what's their vibe, what's their energy going to be like when it goes into, when they go about their different scenes, acting out the different scenes in the film. So I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty stoked. It's definitely going to be a lot of work, especially working with in this type, being that we did short films before, but just the fact that we're doing it from more like almost like a spoken word performance type of angle, but we're kind of morphing it into like a performance-based short film where, you know, we have the scenes, people are acting out different things. We got, instead of just having a very dedicated script with all this dialogue, we're just going to base the script solely off the poems that was written by the client. I think it's going to be unique. I can't wait to put this together to show you guys out there what comes out, you know, what the final results are going to be. As of right now, we're kind of, again, we're in the preliminary stages. We're just kind of getting things together, getting the actors together. But filming is supposed to start in September. So this is a pretty big deal. I'm pretty stoked that we're doing this. And again, I hope this provided some insight for you guys. For those who are aspiring to do some short films, definitely start off with doing storyboards. They're extremely helpful, gives you an understanding, but most importantly, it gives you direction, right? On exactly where you want to go with your film. I appreciate you guys tuning in. You know who it is. Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia. And it looks like I got to get back to it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go because
You're gonna go.
Yeah, it's my time to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
we can't hold you any longer. Right?
No. There's
You're
lots.
not gonna help with this.
No.
Oh, your job is just to film. I got it.
Catch you later.
Yeah, you can catch me later. Catch you guys later. I'm gonna get back at it.
Got a short film in mind? Don't let messy sketches stall your vision. Get Things Done helps you storyboard like a pro. Turn your vision into reality.